So by the time she was 5 years old, Lucy Ogbu-Nwobodo had already decided to become a doctor. But at age 11, Dr. Lucy, because that's what she is now, left her native Nigeria to live with a family member in Oakland, California for better opportunities. Dr. Lucy's story is one of sheer perseverance and force of will. She is with us today to discuss her immigration journey from Africa to the United States, leaving her family behind and now becoming a medical doctor, starting her residency at Harvard University, considered the best university in the world. Dr. Lucy Ogbu-Nwobodo, welcome to Bradshaw Live. How you doing?
Thank you so much, Brad. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. So you were 11 years old, and how did you end up leaving Nigeria at 11 years old? Who decided that? And were you into going to America, or you're like, no, don't send me here? Tell me everything that happened leading up to you coming to America alone as an 11-year-old.
So, I mean, as a kid, you don't really have a lot of ideas of what you want for yourself specifically, but I'm one of 7 children, grew up in the southeast part of the country, and there was not a lot of opportunities for education, for health access, and it was quite destitute where I grew up. And so we had a family member who was in America, and they offered my mother an opportunity for me to come to the States to better, to have a better life. And so she agreed for me to come. And that's what brought me to Oakland, California at the age of 11.
So presumably, I don't know your whole story, but we're going to find out. Presumably you grew up here undocumented, right?
Yes, I spent almost 14 years of my time in the States undocumented.
So from 11 to 25, you were undocumented in America?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember what it's like living as a child in rural Nigeria? You said it's tough. Can you give us tell us what tough means?
Well, tough means not having running water, not having electricity, not having continual access to education. Nigeria does not have a public school system like we have here in the States, where you can go to school K through 12 for free. Most families have to pay school fees for their kids to go to school. So you can imagine if you have a family with more than one kid, trying to pay each person's school fees is quite prohibitive.
So you came to California. I guess you enrolled in school in America undocumented. You were raised by another family member. Was it tough being alone, without your siblings, without your biological mother, without your biological father?
It was very tough because, as you can imagine, Oakland, California is quite different from rural Africa. It was a culture shock to come here as a kid. I had an accent. I had never been exposed to the urban life that Oakland sort of threw upon me. So trying to navigate a whole new world, a whole new society as a child is different for anyone, let alone one without a lot of their familial support. So those years were very tough, and Oakland is not an easy place for anyone to grow up back in those years, let alone someone like me.
So how was this family able to raise you? Did they have the economic wherewithal to help you, or did you have sacrifices, or did they make sacrifices, or did you not get what you needed growing up from them as well? What happened there?
It wasn't the most supportive environment. They were not as nourishing and nurturing as they were initially purported to be. I had to pretty much struggle to navigate my own way through this world, especially as it relates to my own academic pursuits. They did not want to fund my education, and so I had to try to figure it out for myself. So they were not the most nurturing people.
So how did you, as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, I guess they just kind of say, send you off to school. They, sounds like they wouldn't care whether you did your homework, you didn't do your homework, help you with your essay on history or your math problems or anything like that. How did you motivate yourself? Because there's so many children who don't want to do work, who don't want to go to school, who don't want to learn. How did you motivate yourself without any family, mother, father, siblings, role models, nothing, left to your own devices? How did you do that?
I think that, I give a lot of credit to those formative years I spent in Nigeria. I had a very strong foundation that emphasized the importance of education. When given the chance to go to school in America, I took every opportunity that was presented to me because I valued the importance of education. And I also saw, like you mentioned in the introduction, I wanted to be a physician early on because I saw what lack of medical access looked like in not just a global point of view in Africa, but also in East Oakland, California. And being able to become a physician was my way to make a direct impact in someone's life. So I wanted to do whatever I could within my power to make that a reality no matter what.
Right. So, and I think the key word that you used there was opportunity. You didn't see an opportunity. You know, as an 11-year-old, maybe you're not able to eloquently state it like you've said it now as an adult, but you see where you came from, and there's an opportunity here, and I'm not going to lose it, and you took it. And not only did you take it, but you graduated the valedictorian, I understand, from your high school in Oakland, and graduated at 15, 2 years early.
Yeah.
Valedictorian. How'd you do that?
So it was actually interesting because when I first came to the country, they did not accept my transcript in the Oakland Unified School District. So basically, they had to test me into a grade to see where I would be placed. So I actually tested into the 9th grade and started high school at 11 years old. So I went through all 4 years of high school from 11 to 15 and didn't skip high school, but I started so young, so it worked out better for me in the end.
So you got accepted to Ivy League schools. You probably had very good test scores. You graduated first in your class, 2 years younger than everybody else, but you didn't go to the Ivy League schools, the top schools in America. Why?
When you're in high school, you never have to use your security number. You never have to use a green card or legal papers. But it was at the end of my high school education when I wanted to enroll in colleges was when I realized that I didn't actually have those documentations. You can't matriculate without these documents. And so I was unable to take advantage of all those opportunities that was given to me because I didn't have a fingerprint, such as a security number, a green card. I didn't have any of those legal protection. I didn't even have an ID, to be honest with you, to let alone even begin that process. So I was left unable to begin college because of those issues.
So you're 15 years old. You can't start college. The extended family you're living with isn't really very helpful to you. You now discover you have no immigration status here whatsoever. What did you do?
Cry. You cry because all of your hard work, all of the hours and years you spent trying to, extricate yourself from a bad situation was no longer going to be available to you. Right. I have to admit that time felt really bleak. There was a time where I didn't really see how I was going to be able to ever really move forward in life because, as you know, in this country, legal status is some of the most important things that anyone can have if they want to better themselves. So it's really, really hard to facilitate any kind of future without it. So I struggled a lot of times for many years actually trying to figure out how to reconcile that. But I was fortuitous enough to go to an open house at my local college, California State University, East Bay, and bring my transcript from high school with me, sort of like a walk up to the table sort of thing. And when I walked up, they took me on the spot.
So you found a nice person to overlook the fact that you had no status, and they took you into the school anyway. How did you pay for it?
So I got very creative. I have to give a lot of credit to Cal State East Bay because we were on a quarter system, so which is a 10-week quarter. So they allowed me to do a fee installment plan where I could pay every 2 weeks, so 5 installment plans for each quarter for my tuition. So what I did was I baked cookies and I sold them on campus. I was the cookie girl at Cal State East Bay and basically peddled these cookies from every department on campus to the student union to whoever would take it in the parking lot, anywhere I can go so that every 2 weeks I can make my installment payment. And again, back in 2002, early on when this was going on, it was a lot cheaper to pay tuition in California state schools. Right. It's quite prohibitive now to do so, but I was able to do that every 2 weeks for every quarter moving forward.
Boy, you must have sold a lot of cookies.
I would say probably close to 10,000 cookies, but who's counting?
So how did you get your green card? You went through college. How did you get your green card?
So I was very lucky in that I began volunteering at Highland Hospital in Oakland. Highland Hospital is a local station net hospital serving the most underserved in Alameda County, which is where Oakland is. The need that I saw at Highland Hospital, we were a microcosm of what the issue in healthcare in this country is, where those who don't have anything are stuck trying to navigate a healthcare system that's not really providing what they need. We
Right.
need providers who understand that, who have that unique insight to go back and work with those communities. So I was looking for students who had that passion because if I couldn't do it, maybe they could do it. But along the way, I made mentors who I began to trust because, as you also know, as an undocumented student, you don't reveal your status to anyone. You don't talk about your papers. You don't discuss those issues because you're afraid not only for deportation, but you're afraid of other ramifications against you. So I was living in secret for so long, and until much later on, I could entrust others with my secret. They were able to then help me get an immigration attorney who helped me navigate the whole system. I was able to get my green card then.
Oh, that's
But it
fantastic.
took many, many years for that to happen.
Well, that's fantastic. I understand your mom came for your graduation. Is that correct?
Yes,
Graduation from medical school.
yes.
I can imagine how your mother felt saying, I gave my daughter up. So basically, the mom sacrificed her life. You know, when a mother gives up her daughter, mother wants to raise her child and raise her child all the way to, until adulthood. To give up a child and say, I'm going to give this child because I know this child where we live in rural Nigeria is not going to have an opportunity. To give her an opportunity and then show up and see you in medical school must have been really something for your mother too. Did you ever have that discussion with her?
Yes, she's a very spiritual woman, and she's very faithful and prayerful. And so a lot of her joy is grounded in that faith that
Right.
she was always praying for me, that she knew that God had my back, and He sure did.
So you're starting your residency at Harvard. What kind of doctor do you want to be?
I'm going to be a psychiatrist. I'm actually training to be a
Oh,
psychiatrist
wow.
because I saw a lot of issues in mental health as it relates to underserved communities that were not being addressed. And so I'm passionate about trying to reach out to disenfranchised communities around the country who are lacking in mental health access. A lot of people are still on the periphery of our healthcare system trying to gain access. So if you don't have access for the most basic mental health, medical health issues, it's really hard and prohibitive to get access to mental health. On top of it, we don't have enough providers who in mental health who are going to be serving all these people. So there's a need to actually increase the healthcare workforce as it relates to psychiatry and psychology and these other specialties designed to treat mental health disorders in this country. And so to address all these issues is going to take a much more bigger effort from a multidisciplinary approach to make a real dent in that problem.
Well, I think you're certainly on your way. Are you a U.S. citizen now?
Yes, I am,
Oh,
sir.
congratulations. When did you become a citizen?
2 years ago, December 2000,
Right.
actually 3 years ago, December
Did you
2015.
sponsor your parents to get their green cards?
Not officially, but
Not
my mother is as well.
Oh, she's a citizen now. Oh, wonderful. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling to get their footing. There's a lot of people struggling to get their status. What do you say to them? How do you tell them, hang in there?
First of all, I tell them that I stand with you in solidarity. Once a dreamer, always a dreamer. I am part of that original dreamer coalition of students who were brought here as a child trying to get papers in this country. Your heart never stops aching for what they're going through. I know what it feels like to have the ground underneath you feel so unsteady all the time, where you can never truly exhale because you're afraid of, even signing your paper, your name on a piece of paper and trying to figure out how to provide for your family without having any papers. Like the vivid memory of that will never leave me. So I feel your pain. I understand what you're going through. And I tell you to never give up. No matter how bleak it looks, to never give up because we have an opportunity to fight, not just for ourselves, but for others who are still going through this issue, to know that we are part of what makes this country what it is. We love America. We want to invest in this country that's given us so much. And to always try to find deep within you that resilience to keep going through, even when the darkness seems to be overwhelming, you can't find a way out. And try to find allies and those that you can trust because it's a very lonely place hiding in broad daylight.
Dr. Lucy, you're really a very, very special person, very smart, very intelligent, and of course, really the way that you grew up and to be where you are today, you know, a lot of people would have ended up a lot different. I give you all the credit in the entire world. And but let me ask you this last question. You're now an American citizen. You came here with nothing as an 11-year-old. Do you think you've reached your American dream?
I am a living example of what's possible in America, right? The American dream is not a thing that you can touch. It's an ideology, it's an essence that you can come here and work really hard and be able to contribute and live a good life, being a good part of a society. And so I am on my way to becoming fully actualized in the American dream, the idea of it. But you never get there. You dedicate your life to public service. You dedicate your life to serving others, to helping humanity as a whole, because you have been the recipient of the kindness and generosity of others. That is the kind of a mission I try to use to live my life. So I don't think of it as a destination. It's a process that I'll never stop trying to live up to.
I want you to know, we ask that question all the time of many guests on our show, and you had one of the best answers I've ever heard in terms of reaching the American dream. Congratulations to you. Good luck. Good luck at Harvard. And I'm sure you're going to be wherever you end up, you're going to be quite a success. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Lucy Ogbu-Nwobodo. I hope I got that right.
Don't worry.
Okay. Close. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Be well. Appreciate it.